What is data law? Give me a few minutes. I'll give you the basics. My name's John Bandler. Let's talk about data law. It's got four main components. You see them there. Data law is a part of law. It's part of cyber law. In this module, I'll tell you what I think data law is. I'll give you some nuggets you can remember. I'll help you understand. I'll point you to more resources, the usual disclaimers. This is not legal advice. So what is data law? Here's the simplest answer. It is data plus law, just like it sounds like. But what does that mean? Words mean different things to different people, including different lawyers. What's data? Data is digital information. Now here it mostly means consumer data, meaning data about us. What is law? Law, that's rules from government. So that's the simplest definition of data law. Here's how I talk about it in my book. The newer data laws were enacted to address the aspects of our new cyber world that traditional laws could not address. That's my cyber law book, page 325. Like I said, data law is a part of cyber law, and there are four main categories of data law. We're going to talk about all of that. What is cyber law? I have another video on that, but to put it simply, cyber law is one part of law that relates to digital things. What is law? Well, I have another video on that also, but basically, laws are just rules that come from government, and we're all familiar with rules because we have them everywhere in our lives from different places. Let's talk a little bit more about cyber law, and let's think about it. Cyber law is simply where cyber and law intersect. Cyber law is those rules from government that relate to technology and digital spaces. Now, many things that I call cyber law are traditional laws that have evolved to address many aspects of the cyber age, the internet and computers. I talk about cyber law in another short video, and I wrote an entire book on it. But cyber law is not just about traditional laws being used in cyberspace. We need to think about a subset of cyber law, which is data law. Cyber law includes data law. Data law is the part of cyber law that deals with consumer data, where consumers needed additional protection with a new type of law, these data laws that legislatures enacted. So data law is a special part of cyber law. Let's zoom in a little more on data law. And let's look and see what's inside of data laws. Four main components: secure data disposal, data breach notification, cybersecurity, and privacy. And when we look at it this way, it shows the evolution, how they evolved chronologically. And it also shows them from simplest to most complex. Secure data disposal, pretty simple. Privacy, pretty complex. So this diagram, it's a good start to get us started, to visualize it, the chronology. But consider that these four components are not separate. There is overlap between all of them. And let's look at that in this slide. Let's look at privacy, which is the most complex and largest, and it includes the other three for the most part. Cybersecurity of consumer data is essentially a part of privacy laws. Secure data disposal is a part of cybersecurity, and it's an obvious part of cybersecurity, so we really don't think about it too much, but it was one of those first types of data laws. Data breach notification, that's a part of privacy too, giving consumers that notice when their data got stolen, got breached. And when we look at things this way, we can see how those four types of data law overlap in certain places. Why data laws? They were enacted to address aspects of our new cyber world that traditional laws were not suited for. We needed new data laws because of two main issues. One was cybercrime and identity theft, a whole black market economy of criminals, cyber criminals, hacking data and selling it to identity thieves, using it to steal our identity. Because of cybercrime and identity theft, there's a black market. which gives value to things like our name, birthday, social security number, passwords, all of those things. There's another reason we need data laws, and that is because businesses monetize our personal data. Social media, marketers, businesses, AI companies, they all want to learn about us, obtain information about us, and profit off of us. Almost every aspect of our lives is important for companies, tech companies, and all other companies too, because information about us allows them to make money or target us for advertising or influence so that it can benefit them. You've heard the saying, if the service is free, you are the product. Well, that means that our consumer data, information about us, is valuable to them. Even when we pay for things, we are a product because data about us has value. Monetization of our personal data, again, that means information about us is valuable to lots of people and lots of organizations. A lot of governments realized legal protections were needed to limit how business collects, stores, sells, shares, and uses that personal information. And many governments started to put into law privacy principles, principles of transparency, choice, and consent. And also before that, realizing we need data breach notification laws, cybersecurity laws, and all of that. Now, when I say government, that's a vague term. So let's just remember, in the United States, it means a lot of different types of government entities. We've got the federal government, the U.S. government, and then we have state governments. We've got 50 states plus a district and territories. So that means a lot of different data laws from different places. Let's talk about 4 categories of data law. I've already introduced them to you. Now some more details. Data disposal. Those laws simply say you need to securely dispose of consumer data. I'm going to give an example with YouTube and its parent company, Google or Alphabet, since that's where this video is being posted. But let's say Google is disposing of an old server and it's got data of all kinds of YouTubers and other people. They have to dispose of that securely. They can't just sell it on eBay or give it to a friend. They have to make sure it's securely wiped so that our data is not recoverable. Next type of data law, data breach reporting. That means a company needs to report a data breach of consumer data to the government and to those consumers. So let me give you an example. If Google was breached and our information was stolen, information about our accounts, about us, they would need to report that not only to government, but they would need to report that to us, the consumer. That's data breach reporting. Cybersecurity laws, those require that companies protect consumer data from breach in the first place. Have reasonable cybersecurity to protect that consumer data. Sometimes there are cybersecurity laws that require the organization to generally protect itself. You will see that for example, the financial sector, where banks have a legal duty to have good cybersecurity to keep themselves afloat. Google has a responsibility to have reasonable cybersecurity to protect all of our consumer data, which Google is storing in order to run all its services. Privacy laws impose many duties on businesses, duties regarding consumers and consumer privacy, requirements such as notice, choice, transparency. Google has an enormous privacy program. You can read their privacy policy, and that is how they are complying with those laws. Have you ever read a privacy policy, or what is sometimes called a privacy notice, and you have agreed to hundreds, probably thousands of privacy policies when you click the accept? So sometime take a couple minutes and read a privacy policy that you have agreed to. Some important takeaways. Data law is data plus law. It's a part of cyber law, which is a part of all law. Data law is a newer statutory law where traditional laws could not fill the need. Data law protects consumer data, the data that is about us, and consumer data is valuable for businesses and criminals. There are 4 types of data loss: secure data disposal, data breach notification, cybersecurity, and privacy laws. For a deeper understanding, see my additional resources, including my book on cyber law, and I have a full online course on it. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. This is my reference slide. This information will also be in the description. Watch some of my other videos, many resources on my website, which is johnbandler.com. And remember, I have a full book and online course on cyber law. Thanks so much for listening.